There we
Okay,
go.
we could start. How are
Yep.
you doing?
I'm great. How you doing?
Very good. Really, really nice hot summer here in Poland. And how the summer in USA?
It's great. It's hot. I'm in West Bloomfield, Michigan, and right now it's like about 88 degrees, and all week it's going to be this way.
Hmm. So maybe we could start. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk with you in OPOstories from the NBA. We talked with Tim Hardaway, a five-time All-Star player, one of the best crossover players from the 90s. And I would like to ask about question about this aspect. Do you remember your first crossover? I guess it was when you were a kid.
Yeah, I remember my first crossover. It was like in my freshman year in college. Um, we came back from a trip that I didn't play very much my first year because I was a freshman, and we had some upperclassmen that that was in Lure, or not in Lure, but was supposed to play, and this was their time to play because they put in the time to get where they at today. I mean, at that particular time, and so we lost to Washington, University of Washington, by 30 points. Um, and it was we came back, we practiced for like 3.5 hours. He ran us. We played defense all practice long, rebound, defense, rebound, get back, defense, defense, defense. And this one guy said, "Hey man, let's play some one-on-one. We didn't get to play no offense or anything. Let's play some one-on-one." I said, "All right, cool." So we played some one-on-one, and I crossed him over and went to the hole and dunked on him. And that was game. And he said, "Man, I can't lose like this, man." I said, "Okay, well, let's play another game." And I kept crossing him over, and I kept laying the ball up. I kept crossing him over, shooting jump shots. He said, "Man, that's a wicked move." I said, "Well, okay, thanks." And at that particular time, I didn't know, that I had a crossover like that. I was just playing basketball, getting my game together so I get out there and play, in a game when it's time for me to play in the game. So yeah, that's when I first knew right then and there. That's when I knew that I had a crossover. I had a move to get past somebody.
Hmm. And who was your favorite player when you were a kid? And did he play in the same team? Which was your favorite?
My favorite guy to watch was Isaiah Thomas.
Okay.
That played for the Detroit Pistons. He grew up in
Mhm.
Chicago. He went to St. Joseph High School in Chicago, and I started following his career when I was in grammar school. So when I was watching him play, somebody told me, they took me to a game and said, this is how you play. And I was looking at him and I said, I can't possibly play like him. He said, yes, you got the potential to play like him. I said, because that's a bad guy. He was just in high school. This was like his senior year in high school. And I was like, man, he's a bad guy. So he was like, yeah, I just want you to come and see him play because he reminds me of you. And that's when I started following his career and started patterning my game after his game. And, that was pretty much it. That's who I really looked at and just patterning my game and love watching them play.
Mm-hmm. And your first steps in NBA were in the Golden State Warriors, which selected you in NBA draft. And first season you played with 5 on your jersey and not your 10. And why number 10 was so special for you?
Well, number 10 was my first jersey in grammar school. That was my very, very first jersey in grammar school. So it just stuck with me throughout my whole career. I don't know why, but when you get your first jersey and you play with it, it becomes almost like uh, that's just your jersey. I mean, that's what you used to wearing. Superstitious almost type thing,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what it was to me. But it was a funny story. The reason why I wore number 5 was Manu Bol had number 10. He was in the NBA 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 years before I was in the NBA. And I said, Manu, hey man, how much would it cost for me to get number 10? He said, $500,000. I said,
Oh.
what? I said, come on, man. I said, man, that's my whole contract. He said, exactly. That shows me if you want if you want it real bad, give me your whole contract. I was like, no, I take number 5, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you add the 5 from the chest and 5 from the back, you still got 10.
Exactly. That's how I thought.
And you save a lot of money.
Oh yeah, no question. I saved a lot of money. I kept my whole paycheck. Shoot, I mean, I wasn't gonna give him $500,000, not for just a number 10. No, that's okay, Manu.
Mm-hmm. So I guess that the other way. Did your teammates try to make your life harder during rookie seasons, except of the managed ball who didn't want to give the 10 number to you? Any other pranks or some special tasks? Do you remember?
So the first game of the season, not first game, first preseason game of the season, we at my alma mater, Texas El Paso. They said, Tim, why don't you lead us out? You at home, you should lead us out. So after we was in a tunnel, you had to come out of this place to get to the tunnel. So I was so frantic and I was so hyped up because I'm back at Texas El Paso, my first NBA game, even though it's an exhibition game, it's my first NBA game. And I'm back in front of friends and family and my familiarity there in El Paso. So we got in and we said, whatever we're going to say. And they said, all right, lead us out. So I came and I didn't even look behind me. I came running down the tunnel and nobody was behind me. And the guy at the announcer was like, and here comes Tim Hardaway. If you could have saw John Stockton's face and Karl Malone's face and the Utah Jazz face, they was laughing at me and everything. And I got down there. I got to the middle of the court, and I stood waved my hands up like this and said, "I'm back." And I just waved, and they gave me a standing ovation. That's the only way that I could have dealt with that. And John Stockton, Karl Malone, and those guys said, "Good job," because I would have been embarrassed myself. But since I was at home, my alma mater where I was playing college, it all worked out well. But they got me. I remember that. That was the prank that really got me. But other than that, no, not at all. It wasn't no pranks. It wasn't no, you got to carry this, you got to carry that, you got to bring me donuts, you got to do this, you got to do that. It wasn't that. No.
Okay. And I guess that playing in Golden State Warriors was special for you, especially that you play with Mitch Richmond and Chris Mullin, and you formed the trio called Run TMC, knowing from fast breaks and also the way how you finish the action. And did you organize some 3-point contests during your practice? Because each of you have got the skill.
Yeah, every day or every practice, shoot around, we went through shooting drills. It was called numbers. And if you didn't get to a number, so say if you a number was 20, so if you miss a shot, that's your number. So if I go behind you and you make it, I make it, and somebody else make it, 5 of us make it, the next guy that makes it, next guy that misses, he has 5. And so he adds on all the way up to 20. If he misses, a shot here, it could be 15. And if you miss that, your number's 15. So, yeah, so we was playing numbers. And, I always got close sometimes, but never won a game. It was always Chris Mullin or Rod Higgins that won them games. And because they was the prolific shooters. They was guys that made shots. I think Mitch Richmond, he won a couple of games here and there, but I never won a game And I was close a couple of times, but I never won a
Mm-hmm.
game. But you know, when you play those games and you don't win, that makes you concentrate even more when you
Mm-hmm.
practice it by yourself to go out there and say, look, I'm going to win this next game. I'm going to win that next shooting contest. I'm going to win tomorrow at shoot around. And you practice on concentrating on making shots from 3-point range. And it get easier and easier and easier because you concentrate. But I never was able to win. But, you know, it was fun while we played and we was right there. Sometimes if you was at 20, sometimes it goes like 20, 25, 30. It got up to even 40 one time, you know, one time when all of us made shots constantly. And man, when it gets to 40, then you add on for the next game. So you might not be able to play the next game because you lost twice. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but yeah, those fun games, and that's how we got competitive to make shots. And when we was in games, you know, the pressure wasn't on us. We just shot freely and confidently to go out there and make those shots.
Mm-hmm. I guess that this kind of friendly teammates competition also creates some chemistry in the team.
Oh yeah.
And in the second season, you made a playoffs with Warriors. So you were seventh, and you won with San Antonio Spurs. They were second. And in the second round, you play against Los Angeles Lakers and the legend Magic Johnson. And your start looks like you didn't care about the Magic Johnson as a legend, but treat him like opponent. And you've got 26.8 points per game, 12.8 assists, and also tremendous 3.8 steals per game. How did you remember this series? Did it help you to rise your confidence in the NBA?
Yes, it helped to raise your confidence in NBA. You can play against anybody, especially at that particular time in the season. You know, that's when you want to play. You want to play in the playoffs. You want to play against the best, and you want to prove to the best that you know you're a team that's rising and that's going to make some hay in the NBA. And for us to go in there and we almost won game one, but you know it went to overtime too, and Magic Johnson had a beautiful game with the rest of his team. But game two, we came in with a mindset where we're gonna let Magic shoot the ball, we're gonna let Magic make plays, we're gonna let Magic do what and not let everybody else score the basketball and let him make plays, let him score the basketball. And that's what worked out for us. But he knew that the way he played that second game, that wasn't a way that they spoke. That's the way they was going to win. He's an assist guy. He's a low scoring guy. He's a rebound guy. And he's a guy that controls the whole situation. And he understood that. And yeah, so when we went in there and if we would have had a big man that was healthy, a 6'9", 7-foot big man that was healthy that could guard a Sam Perkins, that could guard a Vlade Divac, or even that could guard a James Worthy. We was always overmatched. We was always small. We was always playing small against those guys. I think if we had two other guys that could have stick Sam Perkins and Vlade Divac, we would have been all right and would have out rebounded them. But as we was playing small, we was always double teaming, and they was always picking us apart, throwing it up top. Sam Perkins making threes, out rebounding us, putting the ball back up, and that takes a toll on you as a small team. And so that's why I say, if we had some big players that was healthy, like the Alton Lister before he got hurt, if we would have had him healthy, he would have helped us out tremendously on the backboard and defensively. But we didn't have that. We wasn't concerned about offense. Offense, we can run with anybody. We can make plays against anybody. We can do whatever we want to do against anybody. Just on defense was our struggles and trying to always having to double team, always happen to get our rebound a lot. So that was our Achilles heel at that year.
Mm-hmm. I would like to ask you about your coach from Warriors times, Don Nelson, because once Sidney Moncrief told me that Don Nelson created him and helped him to become the Hall of Famer player. And Terry Cummings said that he was kind of visionary. Like in the 80s, he created the position point forward as a role on the court. And how do you remember Don Nelson, and how did he help impact your career in NBA?
Great coach, Hall of Fame coach. Always thinking out the box of the game, and always thinking how to tweak the game the way in his advantage. Point forward was genius. Look at Scottie Pippen. Look at Lamar Odom for the Lakers. That's point forward. Orchestrating and bringing it down and running the offense. That's point forward. Without Don Nelson putting that in the 80s, late 80s, and doing it in the early 90s, I think that Scottie Pippen or say Phil Jackson would not have created that for Scottie Pippen or Lamar Odom. Don Nelson was always before his time. Always before his time. The way the game is played today is how we played the game in the early 90s. And a lot of people didn't understand it. And now they understand this is the way the game is. And this is how it's played. And they taking it to another level. And Greg Popovich was our assistant coach back then too. Mm-hmm. And that's when he came and started running stuff and doing stuff with the motion offense, moving the ball side to side. A lot of guys started picking up on that. A lot of his assistant coaches, his ball players, that's coaches now. You get my man at Philadelphia, then the guy that's at New Jersey, Brooklyn Nets. Then you have the people from Philadelphia, that's with Atlanta Hawks, the coach. I'm talking about all coaches. Coach from Milwaukee, and the coach that went from Milwaukee, assistant coach that went from Milwaukee to Memphis is they all Greg Popovich disciples, and Greg Popovich reworked the offense that we used to run and incorporated with big people. Now they incorporate it with small people and understand what they need to do and how they need to run a motion offense. And man, like I said, Don Nelson, man, without him, I probably would have been not as good as I could have been, as quickly as I could have been. He just threw me in a fire and he said, go out there and play. And I know you can run this team. And I have faith in you. You the coach out there on the floor. Go do what you're supposed to do. And man, that's what gave me confidence. He gives his players confidence. He's a player coach. He gives his players confidence. Mm-hmm. You can go out there and do it. You can go out there and make plays. You can go out there and see what I need for you to see. And that's the way he was. And he made a lot of players great. A lot of players great. And a lot of players, contribute their career to him. Which man, he just sees the good in players and brings out the best out of you.
Mm-hmm. And because of knee injury, you didn't play in 1993-94 season, yeah. And I guess it's usually for the player, if you cannot be on the court and need to work with your body, it's really difficult. And how difficult time it was for you, because it wasn't a 5 or 10 game absence, but it was much longer.
Yeah. When you have an ACL, when you have a Achilles injury, you can't be you're not going to be around a team because you're not going to get the care that you need from your trainer because he has to work with the team that's ready to play. So those guys that are 100% and they playing, he has to work with them and make sure that they stay on the court. And he doesn't have time for you. So you go to a different location, a physical therapy place, and they help you with the beginning stages of getting your, walking again, getting your that you're doing the right things and not doing the wrong things and to hurt yourself and to injure yourself again. So they doing the beginning stages. And the beginning stages is like, 3-4 months. And 3, 4, 5 months is almost the whole season, basically. And so I was, if I was there and I could have, if I could have played, we would have been a lot better off. Don Nelson and Chris Webber, their relationship would have been a lot better. I would have been a buffer in the middle to make sure Don Nelson understand where Chris Webber was coming from and Webber knew where Don Nelson was coming from. I wasn't there, and both of them were so headstrong. They kept butting heads, and they didn't see eye to eye with each other. So it didn't help the whole process. So when I got there, it was already saturated. It was already, the relationship was already done. They was both upset with one another, and it wasn't coming back from anything. No matter how I talked or, got this guy on board, get that guy on board, the relationship was gone. So that's the only thing I wish I could have done, but I couldn't because I needed to get myself healthy for the next season. But if I would have been around more to try to help both of them stop butting heads and see eye to eye and see what the future was for the Golden State Warriors.
Okay.